What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video for my boat restoration. Today I got a fun one for you guys. I'm going to be cutting off the back of my boat. It's something that I realized a little while ago is going to need addressed, and you can see here I'm taking off a plate that the last owner put on. This was a quick fix and it worked out for a little while, but anymore I don't feel safe with it on there, and I want something more sturdy. Especially with all the flex that you have on a motor when accelerating and decelerating. It is completely rotted, and I could push on the transom in like many different spots. You'll see it flex. So since I'm redoing the entire boat, I might as well add one more crazy project to the list.
Oh boy. I knew this was bad, but did not realize just how bad. I mean, there is wood rot the entire way to the top here. And once I revealed this spot, I found this huge crack right here in the body. Same with right here. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to address this. That is going to be much further down the road. But now I'm going to start cutting the back of the boat off.
Alright, so I jumped the gun a little bit, and off camera I went ahead and I drew a first line. You'll see it, it's like the line furthest to the inside, and that was my actual cut line. So I went around with a grinder and I cut most of the transom out, but I left the corners intact so that it wouldn't actually fall off. My next step will be taking an angle grinder with a 60 grit sanding pad, and I'm going to go back along that line that I just cut and create like a valley. So right where that cut line is will be paper thin, and then working my way out on either side, it will get thicker. That'll let me lay different layers of fiberglass in there, starting with like skinnier pieces and work my way up to bigger pieces. And that's like the best way to structurally reinforce that piece of glass that I'll eventually be putting on later. I've got a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding to do, so having this bodysuit on and mask is essential for a job like this.
Wow, that is crazy. This thing is almost completely rotted. Got like the littlest bit of good wood up here. The rest of it just absolutely gone. So what I gotta do from here is get all of this wood out, and then I have marine grade plywood that I'll be putting back in. It's gonna take a bit of work to get this thing solid again, but definitely needed to happen. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. You could probably get half the work done right now. Whew. Not exactly sure how bad this is going to be. I'm noticing that there's a hole right here that's going onto the inside of the boat. So, yeah, this is going to be a crazy repair. I'm gonna cut it here for tonight, come back another day so I can see better. So, see you then.
I got the boat inside now, ready to start taking this wood out. And the first like half hour of me working on this was just testing out a bunch of different methods. So you see here I got my multi-tool. I was slowly cutting away at the edges of the wood. I also had a hand chisel that I was doing a little bit of work with. And then I switched to one of those painter's tools. I think it's called like a 5-in-1 tool. So I was using that as like a scraping edge, and that helped out a little bit. But my biggest problem was trying to get the wood that was behind the area that still had like fiberglass. So that entire perimeter of the boat, where you see me drilling right here, that was super hard to get to. I used a 1/2 inch drill bit, and I was able to slowly like break up the pieces of wood in there. But most of that stuff was still solid, so it just made removing it a lot harder. I did make one big mistake when doing this part of the job, and that was not wearing any gloves. My knuckles and hands got all torn up with a bunch of little fiberglass strands getting into them. So if you could learn anything, it would definitely be wear gloves for this part. As I'm doing this work, I realized if I'm not careful, I could put this drill bit right through the bottom. So I took some painter's tape, I measured the depth, and I put that on the drill bit just so I have an idea of how deep I can go. Kind of looks like I'm missing an entire layer of wood here, and that's just because there's like a super thin layer that's still kind of mixed in with the resin from whenever they first made the boat. And that's going to be an issue as far as like bonding goes whenever it comes time to put the transom back together. So I'm going to take my angle grinder with the 60 grit sanding pad, and I'm going to go along this entire transom and get rid of all that wood grain look. I want to have nice bare glass, get it nice and scratched up, so whenever I do go to start putting everything back together, the new resin has a good solid surface to bite to. Wow, that was extremely difficult. This wood was just jammed in here, and I had to chisel it out little piece by little piece. Used the multi-tool to kind of cut at it, and I finally have all of the wood dug out down here. My next thing I have to move on to is this top corner up on the port side. Once I'm done with this side, I will be completely done with digging out the perimeter of the transom, and I can finally move on to the next step. I'm going to finish up the rest of the work here tonight, and then I'm going to be taking the boat back home to my house where I'll continue doing the rest of the work at. The main goal for today is to start getting wood cut out for this transom. I have my friend Joe who's coming over. He's a lot more experienced with fiberglass and boat work than I am, so he's going to be giving me some guidance on how to do this and help with getting everything cut in and glassed up. We're going to take some cardboard templates to get the profile of this transom. Once we have that, we're going to put it onto the wood and get that all cut out. Once the wood's cut out, we're going to take the polyester resin from Total Boat and coating the pieces of plywood with that to make sure everything gets waterproofed. Along with that, we might start digging into some of these spots here that need major patchwork. I'm not super sure what's going to happen with up here. It's become completely detached from the inside of the boat, so that's going to be a tricky spot for sure. Down here, you know, a lot of it just needs reinforced with fiberglass. So we'll be doing patches from both the inside and the outside. Make sure that it's structurally sound. And other than that, I'm not really sure what else we're going to do, but I'm excited to get this started. Now, as much as I want to film all this, that's probably not going to happen. We're super focused on making as much progress as possible, so I'm not going to really have the camera out too much. But I'll take little videos here and there to kind of show you guys what's going on, and I'll just throw it into the video as we do it. But let's get to it. All right, this is how it's looking after the first layer of fiberglass. We got everything that was floppy kind of bonded to the edge right here, so it's getting nice and solid. Same with on this side. This is going to need a little bit more work, but we're going to have to do patching from the inside for this part. But yeah, got the holes all covered up. Same with the stuff down here. All these holes are covered now. We had to kind of use tape to hold this part, and we're going to take the tape off, sand away the little edge that's sticking out here, and then glass more, just because this part was kind of cracked and like coming out. So this is where we're at with this. Still going to need a little bit more for that. But once we get that taken care of, the next step will be putting in a piece of wood here. We got all these pieces pre-cut, and I'll show you that in the next clip. But we're going to go ahead, stick that on, along with a couple little scab pieces we have to put in here. And then that piece is going to get screwed to the transom. Going to press everything nice and tight, get it all solid, and continue working out from there. It's time to put that first piece of wood in, but something I wanted to cover real quick is all of that resin that we put on the night before. It has a wax in there to help it cure. And you have to make sure that you get all that wax off. So you want to take a sanding pad or whatever you got and just scratch it all up. Make sure you get all that wax off, and then wipe down good with acetone. Each time you do glass, you got to be using acetone. What you see us using here is a glue that we made with polyester resin. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Let's go. Everything's looking great right now. We got this plywood tied into the boat. I went into the inside and did a lot of patching. So now this fiberglass is tied into the boat here and on the top. Same with on this side. And then to finish it off for today, we took our polyester resin, mixed it with some silica thickener, and we went around and just shoved it into that gap that was all the way around the plywood. So when this all cures, it's going to be nice and solid. All right, now it's time to repair this outer glass. I've got those two major cracks at the bottom, and I had to take my angle grinder, sand it all down, and I did patches from the front and the back, starting out with smaller strips and working my way up to bigger strips. That gave me nice surface coverage. I also did that on the top two bolt holes. There was no cracks there, but I just wanted to cover both of those up, so when it comes time to drill out the new bolt holes, I have a nice solid surface to go through. I got the outer glass now sanded from a thick middle to a paper thin edge. I did the same thing on the boat here, and this will let me build up those layers of fiberglass. Now it's time to permanently glue on that outer skin. I'm using the same glue as I did before, the polyester resin with silica thickener. I don't think I mentioned it before, but this resin I have does not have wax in it, so you have to add wax on your own to help it cure. Oh yeah, this thing is looking good. Moving to the inside of the boat, I had to repair this area in the bilge where the fiberglass was still kind of broken away. So got my fiberglass strands, bonded it all together, and then coated it with some bilge paint. Alright, we got the first layer of fairing compound on the transom. I ended up using Total Boats polyester resin mixed with this West System 407 low density fairing filler. It went on really smooth. I mixed it to a peanut butter consistency and then went ahead, spread it on using mud knives for drywall. I kind of just had my mud knife go from gel coat to gel coat, went up, and it got me pretty even for the most part. But I'm going to go through now, get all the high spots down. I'll be using this longboard sander right here. So right now I think it has like 36 grit or something below like that. Go through, knock all this crap down, and then go to 80 grit. And the method while using this thing is I want to kind of go sideways over here. I want to avoid just going straight across and making like ripples in the transom. So gonna go ahead, do this first layer. I ended up applying 2 more coats of that fairing compound to get a nice level surface. Once I was done with that, I went through and added icing to all the little imperfections. This stuff cures super fast, so right after that, I went through and sanded everything down to 180 grit, and that's going to be the last step until I put primer on the boat. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. I got everything looking a lot better than it was. We got a structurally sound transom, and I could not thank you enough, Joe, for coming out, showing me how to do this stuff, taking the time of your day to really make sure this was done right. I really appreciate it, man, so thank you. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek real quick. So this is what it's looking like. Gonna get to see a lot more in the next video, so make sure you stay posted for when that drops. And thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.